Around 2 months ago, the company Benks kindly sent me out their StandGo power bank, which has a capacity of 10,000 milliamps. It retails at between 30 and 40 bucks around the world, and it's available on their official website and on Amazon. The power bank has 3 charging outputs: USB Type-C, USB Type-A, and if you have an iPhone, you can charge wirelessly using MagSafe. Interestingly, you can use all of these outputs to charge 3 devices at the exact same time, but it's the Type-C port that you'll use to charge the power bank up. As you would expect from a MagSafe power bank, this power bank is magnetic and it will stick to the back of your iPhone. It also has a battery indicator to let you know how much power is left in the power bank, and it also boasts a kickstand that allows you to put your phone or device in many different positions. In the package, you'll find a short Type-C to Type-C charging cable, a user manual that shows some specs and gives you some information about how to use the power bank, and finally, you have the power bank itself. One of the first things that I tested was the strength of the magnet. Now, the manual does say that you shouldn't use this with a case that's more than 2mm thick, but really, if you want to use any MagSafe device with your iPhone and have a case, then that case should be MagSafe friendly. And in my tests, I found the battery to be very, very magnetic. A 10,000 milliamp power bank has an actual capacity of 7,400 milliamps because the capacity is calculated using 3.7 volts, but USB outputs at 5 volts. The actual capacity drops more because of power loss, which is why the power bank, the box, and the manual all give a rated capacity of 5,800 milliamps. Which means that this power bank has an efficiency rating of 78.38%, which is what you would expect for a power bank like this. With regards to charging, Benks say that if you're charging one device at a time, you can charge up to 15 watts using the magnetic MagSafe wireless charger, up to 20 watts using the Type-C connection, and up to 18 watts if you're using the Type-A connection. And over the last few months, I've been testing these claims using my iPhone, my old Android phone, and using multiple USB cables. Unfortunately, this power bank cannot provide up to 15 watts of wireless charging via MagSafe. But that was not a surprise to me because this is not a made for MagSafe product that was approved by Apple, and most non-official power banks top out at 7.5 watts when you're charging via MagSafe. So I do not know exactly how many watts are output when you're charging using MagSafe, but I was able to charge my iPhone 15 Pro Max from 0 to 50% in about an hour and a half. Now, that's not a fast charging speed, but on the plus side, in all the times that I did use MagSafe charging, I never noticed the power bank getting too hot. With the Type-C connection, I was able to charge my iPhone consistently at about 19.9 watts, and that was using the provided cable that came with the power bank, it was using third-party cables, and it was using the Type-C to Type-C cable that Apple provides with new iPhones. My old Android phone supports wired charging up to 33 watts, but using the power bank's Type-C connection with the same cables, I was only able to charge my Android phone at between 13 and 15 watts. I was able to charge my Android phone at a slightly higher speed using the power bank's Type-A connection, getting close to 16 watts with one of my cables. Unfortunately, I was not able to match those speeds with my iPhone. Using the power bank's Type-A connection and testing it with 2 or 3 different Type-A to Type-C cables, I was only able to charge my iPhone at about 7.5 watts. So this is the Benks power bank with Kickstand, and this is what I've been using over the last month or two. So what I'd like to do now is just talk about my overall opinion on this and my experience of testing it, and just give you some information which I think will be useful if you're thinking about buying this. So one of the first things I think a lot of people look at when they're looking at a power bank is the size and the weight and the capacity, obviously. Now, if you're using it as a MagSafe power bank, the size and the weight are relevant because it's going to be stuck to your phone. Now, this weighs 208 grams, and you can see in an iPhone 15 Pro Max, it goes from kind of just above the base up to just below the camera. So it is, quite tall. But I've not found it to be too big and bulky. Now, I have seen some people saying that it is too big and bulky, that you should use the 5,000 milliamp power bank instead. That is an option. But I wanted the higher battery life. And in my opinion, this is an acceptable size. You know, I had this charging in my pocket for a few hours, in my jeans pocket, in my jacket pocket. I didn't think it was too big and bulky. I was okay with the size. So for me, you know, the size, etc., it was okay. The design, I think, is really good. I just like the design of this, and I think the kickstand is a welcome addition, because if you look at most phone cases, the stand is blocked when you put on a power bank on the back with MagSafe. Now this ESR case here has a stand here, but most cases, such as these Taurus ones, have a stand in the MagSafe area or down at the bottom, like that. So having this power bank on it, you're obviously covering the stand. So putting the stand on here, you know, is obviously a very good idea. So it's a small little thing, but I think the kickstand is a nice addition. And you can even do it vertically. You can do it vertically or you can do it horizontally. When you do it horizontally, you'll get the new Apple screensaver showing you the weather and the time and whatnot. So yeah, it's got support for that. As far as the magnet strength goes, I use this with 3 or 4 of the ESR cases that I've got. I've used them with the 3 Taurus cases, which I'm currently testing. I've got a review for that coming out soon, and no issues at all. The magnet is very, very strong. Absolutely no issues. Excellent. Absolutely excellent magnet strength there. Now, if you don't have a MagSafe friendly case and the case is too thick, you might have some issues, but you should have a MagSafe friendly case. The other way that you'll have an issue here is if you put it on back to front, the charging indicator has to be down at the bottom here. If you do put it the wrong way, the magnets aren't going to catch and it's going to fall off. So just make sure you put it on the right way. So the design here is quite good. You can see you've got the battery indicator there, which you can, you know, see at any time by pushing the little button here. Type C at the side, Type A, and wireless charging on top. Now, earlier on, you may have noticed that, you know, there was some specifications at the side there. Now, you can kind of see there that all of those specifications are gone. They're gone. Now, this was not something that happened over like a month or so. After using this power bank for about a day, all of those useful input and output specifications pretty much disappeared. I mean, you can see that they are there, but these all kind of wiped off. All the print wiped off after a day. So that was a little bit annoying, because that's something that I always find useful on power banks, that you can see the specifications, that you can refer to it 6 months or a year down the line, and you can find out what a given port supports from a charging point of view. But yeah, that rubbed off after about a day, and you really can't make it out now. Now that information is, you know, it's in the manual, it's on the box, etc. But it's a little bit annoying that it was taken away from there. Now, from a charging perspective, the manual states that the Type C port, which is an input and an output, it supports 18 watts for input. But I've actually been getting about 18.6, 18.7 watts. I'm not sure you'll get an accurate measurement here. Oh, there you go. I was going to say you won't get an accurate measurement because the battery's quite full right now. But yeah, you can see that I'm getting closer to 19 watts for the input. So this is me charging the power bank up. So it looks like it does support up to 20 watts for charging the power bank up. Now, I don't know how long it does take to charge this up. I'm guessing it's about up to 2 hours to charge it up fully. The reason being that it's not a percentage indicator, and you know, I was just kind of eyeballing it as how long it took when I was charging up. I was charging it overnight, or I was just charging it at the side and just checking the indicator every now and then. But it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I think, to get this charged fully if you charge it at that full rate. It may actually be less than that, but I don't know. It was not something I was looking at closely, if I'm honest. As far as charging goes, like I said, they are saying that you get 15 watts wireless charging. You don't. You get about 7.5 watts, I believe, which for me is not a deal breaker. But if you're looking for 15 watts charging, you would have to get an official Apple charger or a Belkin charger, which is approved. Those are much more expensive. But what I will say is that myself and my friends were over in Poland last week, and when we were out, we were all charging it using the MagSafe connection, and this charged my phone. It charged 2 friends with iPhones, and they didn't have a Type-C connection. They had an older iPhone, which is why we used MagSafe, and it worked great. You did have to keep it charging a little bit longer, but it really was just topping topping up our phones from like 50% to like 70, 80% to keep us going for another few hours. So yeah, I would have loved to have 15 watts wireless charging, but 7.5 watts MagSafe for me is quite good, and it didn't charge too hot either. I got very close to 20 watts in this Type-C port. Very, very impressive when I was charging the iPhone. And with the Type-A port, they quote 18 watts. I was getting about 16 watts with the Android phone. I was only getting about 7.5 watts with the iPhone. I do believe that has to be a cable issue. I think that's a compatibility issue. You know, I've tested tier 4 cables, but most of the cables that I've bought were primarily bought for Android phones. So I suspect that's one of the issues there. So yeah, 7.5 watts for wireless, I believe. 20 watts, 18 watts, it does seem to live up to those expectations. So there's a couple of things to be aware of, but overall, I've been very, very impressed with this power bank. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's not too big and bulky in my opinion. It's got a good capacity. The kickstand is genuinely useful. And just look at this. I'm charging my iPhone via MagSafe, my Android phone via Type-A to Type-C, and then I'm charging my earphone case as well via Type-C to Type-C. So it is a practical solution in my opinion. It works really well and it's not too expensive either. So many thanks to Benks for sending this out to me. I do appreciate it. I found it to be very useful over the last few months, and I have no doubt that I will continue to use this when I'm out and about. Thanks for watching, guys. If you get any questions, please do post them below. And until next time, take care.